That's Jason in the background.
Hi guys and gals.
Hello.
Ladies and gents.
Yes, he's painting one of our walls, which is exciting. It's a long story, but I am super excited because we just finished Mindful YouTube University, and as a love letter to the graduates, we're doing a 7-day edit-free video challenge. I'm going to just be doing 3 days because we're in the throes of production for the coach training program. But if you guys want to see some of the coaches and what they're doing, not the coaches, the Mindful YouTube University grads and the videos they're creating, just type the hashtag Mindful YouTube University to see their videos. I am making a video today to share my personal experience really in discovering what the root of all addiction is, and that there is really only one addiction that plays out in many different ways. So if you're somebody who's really wanting to lose weight but you find you're overeating, or you want to quit smoking or quit alcohol, or maybe it's having sex with the wrong people, or it's gambling, or there's so many forms of addiction, keep watching. This video is for you. Okay, so let's take a deep breath. Ah, it feels so good. Okay, so as you guys know, I last month posted a really raw video, and it was so I could practice, because I was getting on stage to tell my story and I needed to practice what I was going to be saying, and I had to actually script it for that talk on a live stage. So there's a whole story behind that, actually, when I posted that video and the vulnerability that followed and all of it, but that's just a whole nother video. But what I want to share is that I actually got on stage on November 7th and shared my personal story. And it was really, I've been on stage my whole life, really, especially when I was in theater and acting and such. And this is the most nervous I have ever felt in my life. It was really so revealing, and it was just, I don't know, it was very challenging, but I did it. And I was not myself on stage. I wasn't authentic. We had to read from a script, and I'm not good at that. I'm not good at memorizing scripts anymore or speaking from a script. The only thing I know is to be myself in the moment and share with you what is going on in real time. So doing that with a script just made it very mechanical, and I also noticed that it was very vulnerable, so I put on a performance. Like I was kind of acting with the lines and expressing like in this way that's like really poor acting. It's like a really bad actor's version of self-expression. And afterwards, I got off the stage and I just felt really free. I felt like, even though I didn't really get the story across that well, and my soul and vulnerability wasn't there because I was so guarded while I was sharing it. I was guarded with this like performance, like the armor of an actress, which is really a way of avoiding the vulnerability inside, rather than just being there and being ordinary and being honest and sharing with these people in the audience. But I actually felt really free after. I felt like I had dumped the story on the stage and released it and completed it once and for all, which was my main intention. To just be witnessed and to voice it and to free myself and to leave that story on the stage that night, which I feel I did. However, and there is a point to this that is tied to addiction. After I told the story, basically people kept coming up to me and saying, "Oh my God, you're so courageous. Oh my God, you're so brave. Oh my God, you're so courageous. You're so courageous. You're so courageous. You're so courageous. You're so brave." Those were the only two adjectives I heard. And there was something very triggering about it. It did not feel good to my ego. The ego, thank you, Natalie Newman, for sharing this. If you're watching this, she shared this with me, and it's so true. She's like, the ego hates the word courageous. Because if you think about it, actually, the ego doesn't want to be courageous. That's not a compliment. It basically means you've gone out of your comfort zone and you've revealed and you've been vulnerable, right? The ego likes things like you're beautiful, you're talented, you're fabulous, you're wealthy, you're successful, those things that pump you up in the eye of society. Being courageous means you're doing something really different from other people and you're kind of crazy to have shared what you've shared, right? So it felt worse and worse and worse as people were saying that, and on something deeper really felt seen, and then the ego was just really uncomfortable with that word, courageous and brave. So anyway, I was laying in bed that night and I noticed I felt so empty, and not a good empty. I felt completely disgusted, like I had a pit in my stomach and I just wanted to get rid of that feeling of that pit in my stomach. And it was incredibly uncomfortable. So what happened, I sat there in observation for 2 hours laying in bed, and I'm usually like fast asleep by, as soon as I get in bed. And I just noticed my head spinning, 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 spinning so fast, so fast, so fast. And so what was happening was the feeling that was so uncomfortable, which was really the void, the emptiness, the nothingness, that was really the freed up space from having dumped that story out of my system. What was happening was, rather than embracing the feeling, I was going into my head, and my head was just spinning with all of these thoughts. And my mind wanted to take the discomfort and the pain of the discomfort and blame somebody else or judge other people. Long story short, I was very aware of the part of me that wanted to get angry as armor and blame somebody else for the way I felt. It was really, really powerful. And instead, what I did was I was aware of what my mind was doing, trying to make me avoid what I was feeling so that I could blame somebody else, fight against somebody else, conjure up a storyline that keeps me out of feeling what I'm feeling, which is really the biggest addiction there is. There are all kinds of addictions, but the one that nearly every human being has is an addiction to overthinking, which is what causes most of our suffering, is criticism, overthinking, just like the rat race in the head going a mile a minute, and actually believing that stuff, that story, in multiple stories, right? That can go on in your mind, especially when you're triggered. So what I did instead, and this talk about courage, it took courage, was to migrate out of the thinking mind and come into what I was feeling, which was an abyss in my gut. It was an absolute empty nothingness. It was like an empty feeling. It was a void. And I went into it and I felt it, and it felt primal. It felt like a total collapse of my ideas and my identity and who I am in this world and the success that I need to be, and I need to be loved, I need to be beautiful, I need to be talented. I needed all those people to tell me this, that, and the other. And it was a collapse of that old me, which was really the one who was putting on this perfectionist kind of mask in order to feel valuable. And so as I felt the emptiness, I sunk into it with my breath, and I let it just dissolve me. I let it consume me, this emptiness. And as my teacher, Leonard Jacobson, says, he says, we're all addicted to looking for God in everything. God is everything, right? Or source is everything. The loving intelligence is everything. But none of us want to see that the opposite is also true, that God is nothing, or source is nothing, the spirit is nothing. It's this vast void, this emptiness, the womb of creation, the void, the emptiness. So it was incredibly powerful to tune into this place and to actually let go into it. And what came from it was, first of all, I fell into such a delicious deep sleep, right? I fell asleep rather than not able to sleep because my mind was spinning. And I was able to feel this power that was completely independent of needing anyone else's approval, and feeling the power of infinite space inside of me, the power of who I truly am, and to feel that radical embrace and acceptance for all parts of me, including the part that I was running from was the messy, was the mess, just the disaster, the mess, like the there was a word, I forgot what it was that was coming up, but it was like the loser, the mess, the one who fails, the one who's not good enough. And that's what I was trying not to be, which was what my mind was conjuring up all these beliefs, so I didn't have to look at the part of me that's just a mess, that is a loser, that doesn't fit in, that isn't successful. You know, it's like one facet of the whole diamond of myself. And so as I embraced that part of me, a deep, delicious surrender came in. And integration, really. And so that's really the love I was looking for. And so I shared this story with you because I was able to come out of that experience. See, many people would have what Brene Brown calls a vulnerability hangover, which is what I was feeling, this vulnerability hangover. I had shared too much. I had revealed too much on that stage. And the solution to a vulnerability hangover is to actually embrace the part that feels revealed and exposed, right? To love rather than trying not to be that, trying to hide the mess that I felt like I was, or the wounded one, or whatever. It was about embracing that part. And all addiction, I've always known this conceptually, but I got it on a visceral level. We are all running from the discomfort. And it is in that separation, it is in that running away from what we're feeling, the things that we don't want to feel, the shadow aspects of ourself, that create all suffering. And that suffering is what leads to addiction, so we don't have to feel it. And I could feel it in myself. I wanted to eat something, or I wanted to call someone, I wanted to bitch to somebody about how this person, blah, 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 someone I felt judged by. It's just an addiction to fill the hole, the void. And the thing is, that void can never be filled. It can be temporarily satiated, but it will always need more. It's like it's like an endless hunger inside. It's a pit that will never be fed by outer circumstances, or by battling somebody, or judging somebody, or eating something, or drinking something, or having sex with somebody, or buying clothes. It will never be filled by those things, and that's what creates the suffering, is this endless race towards something out there that's going to make the suffering go away. But the only way to heal addiction is to go straight into the suffering, to go in with clarity, to go in with presence, to go in with compassion, to go in with courage, to go in with this humility, a willingness to accept that this is me too. That the perfect persona, or whatever it is, the intellectual persona, we all have different ones that we lead with, right? The sweet, the nice persona. See, somebody who leads with being nice, which is a big one for most of us. I am a nice person. And that's what we're taught. You have to be a nice person. The thing is, anything that doesn't fit nice, if I get angry or you get angry and you want to be nice, anger isn't nice, so I have to put that in the shadow, right? That's what creates the separation, which is what creates the suffering, which is also what creates the addiction. So if you want to heal any and all addiction, it really comes down to, first of all, recognizing the root of that suffering, of that addiction, which is a running from the emptiness, running from loneliness, running from the void, avoiding the void. And then instead master the ability to go into it with consciousness, with intention, with love, with tenderness, with compassion, with surrender, with grace. And so that is where I'll stop here with this video. This is what all of the diamond process work is about and geared towards, is mastering your life. Because the quality of our thinking is what determines the quality of our lives. The quality of our thinking is what determines the quality of our coaching, of our leadership, of whatever it is we're doing. So I realized so much in that moment. It was such a gift to get triggered like that, triggers as treasures, because when I witnessed it and watched it, I could see, wow, this is my opportunity to take my self-mastery to the next level, which is exactly what I did and exactly why I'm sharing this with you, because you are powerful. You are powerful beyond measure, more than you may know in this moment. And I just send you all the love in my heart. If you are suffering with any form of addiction right now, I want you to know I really feel you. I get it. And may you be compassionate with yourself at this time, and also know that the emptiness or the loneliness or the root of that addiction, there is a way to go into it, and there is a way to bring light to that place. And that's really where the work begins. So I send you a huge embrace and all my love. Jason's getting the paint on the wall. This is exciting. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up if it helped you in some way. Definitely share it with a friend who you think this may help. And if you're not already subscribed to the Soul Family, definitely subscribe. Join us. I offer videos every week. And just sending you a whole lot of love.